as many people who are in ministry and in mission, on the mission field know, is that isolation is really a hard thing. That there are times when you are the only people who speak the same language, or you've got some cultural differences. Money can be a factor that keeps some limitations on things that you'd like to do, and you can be isolated even in a town that's completely different from where you've come from, a city to an urban area, or an urban to a city, to a rural area. So I think that if we think about this area of this idea of isolation and how limiting it can be, I think sometimes ministers recognize that they really do need some care with that. And then the other area is there's burnout. When you do ministry, you are doing it because you love people and you love God and you want to serve and you have this calling. But sometimes we get this sense that we can't stop, or we can't ask other people to help us because this is our job in addition to our calling. And so oftentimes ministers end up getting burnt out because they are overworked, and that can lead to a lot of resentment, especially in a family. And so resentments and some conflicts, things like that, that can happen. And so ministers would find a real benefit of being able to address those kinds of issues of burnout and in the need for self-care. And then the third thing that many ministers face is oftentimes a sense of a lack of faith or a loss of faith. And that can be really scary when somebody who's in ministry is having thoughts or feelings that come about in those areas. And so they don't really feel like they can share those with their questions. They've seen so much. They have experienced so many heartaches and been through conflicts with church people or people in the mission field, and the persecution or other kinds of things. And so having that sense of, is God even there and listening, that can be a real big question for many ministers and missionaries. And so to be able to have a safe place where they could come and be able to voice those things without judgment, that's really important. And that's one of the things that counseling for missionaries and ministers is at my heart, so that people know that they can say something and it's not going to go back to anyone or any body. They can safely voice those things. So that's